So the niches. They are a little bit complicated. In a good architecture, a niche happens because there is space between columns or between some structural beams, and that space can be used. In bad architecture, niches are built just for the sake of building niches. So niches for just the sake of niches are not good. If there is space in, let's say, a room, and there are columns, and that space can be filled with something, then a niche can happen, like here, for example. And but what's inside the niche has to be very thought through. And using it for storage and display is the usual ways, and sometimes people go much further. So here, for example, the object inside the niche is so important and is so perfect for this space that it creates an art object. So it is an art object, but the niche, together with the art object, is more impactful. The light inside it, everything about it is just perfect. This is very clever, this is very beautiful, this makes sense, this makes the room more complicated, it gives more depth, more like levels on the floor create the feeling that there is more space in the room. The same do niches, they give more complexity. This is not just a niche, this is already architecture in its own right. So this is a niche which is creating a space within a space. And these are those cocoons that we were talking about. These are perfect examples of those cocoons. You go in there, you sit with the book, you kind of telling the world that don't touch me, don't disturb me, I need some time on my own. It's a perfect place for a quiet conversation, for sharing some deep thoughts, and or for, well, just chilling. This is pure display, and so that space that was left over there, because so what happened here, there is a fireplace, and the fireplace needs the exhaust, and to cover that exhaust, the space was taken away from the room, and that's why the niche was created. The display, well, in this case in particular, I think proportions are a bit off. The objects on display are not very interesting, and it could have been much better. The light is a little bit strange, and like the lamps should be different. So it's okay, but it's, well, yeah. This, though, is a perfect example of a very, very atmospheric, very, this is art. And it's nothing. It's just dried branches, couple of glass cheap vases, very simple, perfect shape of a small arch. And but this becomes art, and I think it's very interesting to create art out of nothing, and in this case it happened. Again, there was space, and probably here it's some kind of shop, it's or maybe a bathroom. I do like the shapes, but it looks like a face to me. And faces in architecture are weird. So if you see a house and you see two eyes, a nose, and the mouth, something is going wrong. A house is not trying to have a face. A house needs a facade. And because of these eyes, I can't see anything else. I just see the eyes now. Here is a different case when the niche becomes art itself. And I wouldn't even put any object there. This object is unnecessary. When the wall of the niche is used as art, it can be also mesmerizingly beautiful. Okay, here is two examples of a good example and a bad example. So on the left side, people tried too hard, way too hard. The architect was really thinking, okay, I'm going to make niches like this and like that and square and rectangular, and here it's going to be light like this. And for me, it doesn't make much sense. Though, okay, it's not bad, but it's like trying too hard. On the right side, it's perfection. This is where the niche adds to architecture of the house, to the shape of the arch in the wall, and it replicates it exactly, and it makes the space look so much bigger. So it creates this, this wall is probably not too far away, it's maximum 4 or 5 meters, but here it feels like it's really deep, long tunnel. And what's standing there is perfectly in harmony with everything around, with the floors, the lights, the color of the walls. This is beautiful. Another example of, I really like those niches, those arched niches, and when they're deep enough and you can have those little cocoons inside the room, I think it's really beautiful. This brings geography. This tells us a lot about where the house is, and definitely somewhere in India, and it can be a part of a room which has nothing to do with India. And creating those little cocoons, it doesn't mean that they can only be just for, you know, quiet talks or staying away from the rest of your family. You can create a little world within the world of your house. And for that, those niches are perfect, because you can just take a little space and make it completely different. Go to Mars or Paradise or wherever. This is a very beautiful example of simple lines when everything, it's a very small room. There's barely 2.5 meters between the walls. It's a really tiny bathroom. But making this big niche behind the bathtub made this room smart. It's like a really clever room. Imagine if it was just a flat wall, even if it would give a little bit more space to the bathroom itself, but now there is complexity, there is depth, there is different materials, displays beautiful and very organized, and it creates meaning. And that is what I think should never happen, because I don't understand why. And unfortunately, it's the latest trend. And every single villa that's being built in Bali has this kind of thing somewhere. And why? I don't know. It's either beautiful, it's just such a mess. And like, what happened? And especially the picture on the right side. Why would you do this? And this turned upside down arches, I mean, like, tried so hard to achieve what? And imagine the builders who are actually doing this, just to give them the exact drawings of this madness. Like, why? If it was Cappadocia, I would understand, because you have natural holes in, in the rocks, and you put whatever your stuff in there. But this is nonsense. So, from nonsense to to sense, we go to arches.